WHNT News 19's Courtney Crown.
WHNT News 19's Courtney Crown.
Courtney Crown. And what you'll notice first is a lot of this dirt all over the parking lot. You can see there's still glass lying right here, glass from the door of this attempted burglary. This is Trayvon Jackson, and he's wanted on second-degree kidnapping charges. You see that low shoulder sign, so that kind of gives you some context of what the road's like. I am literally stepping off the road right now, taking one step. Look at that. Already past that foot mark. The drivers are able to go into 2 lanes, and then they have to come back into 1 lane. Obviously troublesome for these people that are moving through Old Highway 431. Oh, there we go, you guys. Good morning. You can see the lines are down right here. So I'm really truly only on about 15. It's not like anything you've ever thrown before. We have moved up a little ways. The staging post is actually right back there, playing Frisbee in no time. For now, I'm live in Huntsville. Courtney Crown, WHNT News 19.
Courtney Crown started taking action and working on this case more than 3 months ago. And Courtney, what did you find?
Well, Clarissa and Greg, Army Reservist Stephen McDowell was arrested because police think he looks like the man in a burglary surveillance video. But Stephen always said, "It's not me." This case continued to unfold until this afternoon. And a credible source gives the case-breaking tip, new warrants are issued, and an innocent man walks free. Now, before we get into those details, we want to show you the story just as we intended to air it, so you can get a sense of the stakes involved. This man burglarized both Huntsville Utilities and Apon Pawn Shop on Blue Spring Road on May 1st, 2016. This is a picture of the man Huntsville police arrested, Stephen McDowell, and this is the perpetrator. The district attorney's office says both pictures show McDowell, but Stephen and his family point out the differences they think are obvious.
I looked at the picture, I handed it right back to him, because it's like, how do you not know your own kid? Like, why do you need to study a photograph to see, is this really my kid, you know? No, it's not him.
For example, they say Stephen's skin is lighter, his eyes closer together, his lips lighter colored and different sizes. They also point out this chickenpox scar on the left side of his face and his nose. Stephen's mother, Tam Jackson, says the noses aren't the same sizes nor structure.
I just want people to see that this isn't my baby.
Stephen's former landlord, with whom he has a rough relationship, pointed him out after the surveillance picture aired on the news. The police reports show there were fingerprints found, but analysis of them was not concluded in the evidence against Stephen. The video shows the subject, but they never checked his height. Investigators went to Stephen's mother, who said it wasn't her son. Then the police caught up with Stephen outside of Huntsville Hospital. His 2-year-old nephew was inside, on life support, dying. Police told him to show up for questioning. A lawyer told him not to. Officers issued a warrant for his arrest. Now, his mother is talking to WHNT News 19 to get her son's story out and argue his innocence.
There is really no evidence linking Stephen to anything. There's no evidence. Like, there's no fingerprints, there's no motive.
The surveillance video is the only significant piece of evidence the prosecutor's office turned over to the defense in discovery. Jackson says the crime doesn't match his character.
I couldn't put the two together, like my son doing a burglary. I couldn't, because that's not in his nature. He's not like that.
McDowell says he has no criminal history. A check of Alabama court records shows that as well. He serves in the U.S. Army Reserves, did a tour in Afghanistan, has a wife and a job. McDowell and his family haven't pinpointed where Stephen was during the time of the crimes, but they argue innocent people don't track their every move.
We're not criminals. We don't live our lives trying to figure out, hey, can you make sure you tell so-and-so I was over here at so-and-so a time? We just live.
When word of our story started getting around, things started changing for McDowell. 2 days ago, the district attorney's office decided not to prosecute, but Stephen would still have to wait 5 years for the charges on his record to go away. Less than 12 hours ago, the state signed off on a court order to dismiss the case with prejudice, meaning McDowell will never face charges for these crimes again. For him and his family, today is the day they've dreamed of for months.
I personally want to thank Courtney Crown and the WHNT investigative news crew. They did exactly what their title encloses, and they investigated, and they did it thorough, and they did it fair and honest. The more and more the story went on, the more and more we felt comfortable with you guys. And I won't ever watch another news channel other than WHNT.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
And we aren't finished taking action yet. We're going to follow this case until McDowell's charges are wiped from his record.
All right, Courtney, now the dismissal of this case isn't the only big news we want to share tonight.
No, a man charged with 2 counts of burglary in connection to crimes committed on May 1st, 2016 is sitting in the Madison County Jail tonight. Huntsville police arrested Derek Hines last night. They now believe he is the person responsible.
So, Courtney, can we see a side-by-side look at McDowell, Hines, and the surveillance photo?
Absolutely. Take a look. Here's Private First Class Stephen McDowell and the surveillance video that they used to accuse him. And here is the man Huntsville police have now arrested, Derek Hines. You can see him compared to a few of the shots from that surveillance video. Court filings now say he's been linked to the crime by a credible witness. And here at the end, we'll take a look at all 3 of them together. Stephen on the left, the burglar in the middle, and Derek Hines on your right.
Okay, so what's next now that this mess seems to have been untangled?
Well, the court's decisions also means Stephen can apply for expungement 90 days from today. However, I spoke with Assistant District Attorney Jeff McCluskey just this afternoon. Now it's up to the defense to file for a court order which would make it possible to wipe Stephen's record clean more quickly if it's granted. And McCluskey says, and I quote, "I will do anything I can to help facilitate the expungement of McDowell's charges." Absolutely, Melissa. His name is Keita Wilson, and he's a Marine, and this is his community. He heard about the tragedy the first thing when he woke up this morning. While he doesn't know who was on that plane, he says he feels the deep pain regardless of what service members were on board. You might walk right past the Semper Fi label on this car any other day, but not on Tuesday.
It was heartbreaking for me.
It belongs to Keita Wilson, a man who knows what it's like to take the oath to protect the United States.
We're willing to give our life for this country, to make sure it stays free.
Wilson is a Marine who lives in Moorhead, Mississippi. It's in Sunflower County, just outside of LaFleur County, where the fatal aircraft crash happened. As Wilson's life continues, he strongly wishes he could change the course of fate for his fellow Marines aboard the KC-130.
Most people don't know what we go through, and that what actually went down through my mind was, I hope that somebody survived to tell the tale.
Now, 16 families and friends are planning funerals after a tragedy shook this small town. People like Wilson are praying as they stand near the path of the crash.
I hope that everything is well with the families and that we can all get past this.
And if you guys see behind me, you see all these news crews lined up. Right now, we are waiting for a live update from General Brad James. He's with the U.S. Marine Corps, and Carter Watkins is here with me in Mississippi as well. He'll have a live update coming up at 6. For now, I'm in LaFleur County, Mississippi. Courtney Crown, WHNT News 19. Did you ever just want to hit something? I mean, really nail it? Erin Lima and her husband have a place for you. They are the owners of the new Civil Axe Throwing, located at Campus 805 in Huntsville.
Once you get your first stick with that axe in the target, you're hooked.
Lima says coming to Civil Axe Throwing is unlike any other trip to the batting cages, and it's not like anything you've ever thrown before.
It's not like throwing a baseball, it's not like throwing a football, it's a little bit different. You gotta keep a straight elbow, and we have 2 techniques where you can throw two-handed or one-handed.
Civil Axe Throwing is for people ages 14 and older. Don't worry, Mom and Dad. Lima says the kids will be fine.
It's something that we've been raised not to do, throwing a sharp object, but it's completely safe and it's a new experience that you can have inside.
Civil Axe Throwing is hosting an open house this Friday. Groups of 6 to 12 people can sign up now for the experience, but Friday's gathering gives you a chance to try before you buy a ticket.
It's great for team building, it's great for just a new experience to have fun, and you'd be surprised how easy it is to pick up.
You will also be surprised how relieved you feel after that first throw. Trust me. In Huntsville, Courtney Crown, WHNT News 19.